Today I'm going to show you how to set the lathe speed settings to the correct RPM to accommodate the different types of materials you're going to be cutting. So two main types of metals you're going to be using on the lathe is either aluminum or steel. The difference is aluminum is a very soft metal compared to steel. Therefore, you need to use a higher speed setting to cut aluminum and a lower speed setting to cut steel. So let's start with aluminum. So now I'm going to show you how to set up the lathe to cut aluminum. For aluminum, the recommended RPM setting is 755 RPM. So the way you're going to set that up is first you're going to remove the emergency stop if it's pressed in. Next, you have to look at this diagram, and as you see there's two arcs. There's a red circle and there's a white circle arc. So the red circle arc is the high gears and the low circle arc is the low gears. 755 is in the high gear arc. So you have to switch this back dial from low gear to high gear. So next what you have to do is switch this dial, the front dial, so that the arrow lines up with the 755 over here. So when you shift it, sometimes you might not be able to push it all the way. That's because the gears aren't lined up, and so you can't have a smooth transmission. So what you have to do then is press this green jog button down here, which turns the gears. You have to wait for the gears to stop moving, and then you can smoothly shift it. Make sure you hear that click, otherwise it's not properly in there. So now the lathe is set up to cut aluminum. And as you can see, that's how fast it cuts. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to set up the lathe for steel. For steel, the recommended RPM setting is 300. So right now it's in 755. Since it's in high gear and lined up over here. So since steel is in the low gear settings, you're going to have to push this lever to low gear and change this knob towards the 300. Now, the lathe is moving considerably slower than it was for aluminum, but this is the recommended speed setting you should use for steel. In conclusion, remember that the speed setting for aluminum is 755 RPM, and for steel is 300 RPM. And remember, if you can't turn the knobs properly, use the jog button, wait for the gears to come to a complete stop, and then try moving it again. And always remember to make sure you hear that click. If you do not hear a click, your gears aren't lined up properly, and your chuck is not going to move. So that's how you change the speed settings on a lathe to fit the type of material you're going to be cutting.